Dana Grove, 2420 Henderson Place. I had planned on addressing the debt restructuring, but Bob Fenning, I think, addressed that. Powerful statement when a citizen who loves his hometown begins expressing their opinions about their elected officials in the way the prior speaker did. Tells me that something's not right in the city. And I'm really sorry to hear a lifetime resident of this city feels that way. I wanted to address the budget in general, but one item in particular, and that is the so-called gift of $350,000 from Bedco. First of all, it represents a one-time revenue source, which we know where that's gotten this city. But more importantly, I spent 16 years in grants management with this city, and I've had a number of discussions recently with state officials about this so-called gift. And I can tell you that it won't be permitted by the state, and here's why. And I've also had a chance to review the preliminary opinion on this, which in my opinion has, and it's a layman's opinion, it has about as many holes in it as Swiss cheese. I'm not talking about the loans that were made by the city to the projects. I'm talking about the money that the city gave Bedco so that Bedco could be a partner in this project. And that money is probably around $50,000 to $100,000. And that money was derived from the Enterprise Zone program. Bedco became a partner in those projects only because the city passed that state grant money through to it to sit down at the table and ante up. When those properties were sold, Bedco not only got that money back, but the appreciated value of their partner share on that project. The fact that they used state grant money to sit down at that table automatically triggered those funding conditions on whatever came back. So that money is still public money, and you've heard me call for in the past public accounting of that money because it was funded initially with public financing. So that money should be in a revolving loan fund. It actually should have been returned to the city to be coupled with some of the grants that the city received and lent to the project and were repaid when the projects were sold. And it should be available for further economic development, not to plug budget holes in the city budget. So you continue to proceed however you're going to proceed on that, but you do so having been advised that there are issues with that $350,000. And my concern is that at some point the city's going to have to pay it back and potentially lose it because the state could take the money back because you didn't follow the regulations. I also noticed on those opinions that other projects were funded, and I would wonder whether the state was ever even consulted about whether those projects were funded. What I am happy for in this budget, although it's a kind of a catch-22, is that the council has worked hard to see to it that we get a new EMS center. I think the fact that you're dedicating the proposed tax increase to specific projects is a wise move. Quite frankly, I think you need to ensure as a council that that money gets where it's intended to go and it doesn't land somewhere else, because we know that history with the current city administration. I think you've got to use the power of the legislature to ensure that those practices cease from here on in and that there are consequences if they don't. I also appreciate that a number of council members looked at the budget and made cuts. Personally, I don't think you made enough, and I think you found out tonight at the prior Finance Committee meeting there was a lot of wiggle room to come up with transfers for a lot of overtime costs. Enough said about that. I think you'll see wiggle room at the end of the 2011 budget year. And finally, I want to comment on a communication that the city controller gave to council. It was dated November 30th. She made a number of recommendations in that memo, and I think all of them were good recommendations. And I think council ought to encourage the administration to follow through. I think you should assist where possible, and I think they should all be implemented as quickly as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Old business. We'll move to communications. Communications 7A, Police Department Captain, adopting the Enhanced 911 Plan 2011-2013.
The adoption of the new 3-year 911 plan is requested, and the draft is included. The actual resolution is also prepared. The plan was prepared by Essential Management Solutions, the city's 911 fund managers. It deals with future needs and operations, but can be modified if conditions change.
Questions? Authorizing Resolution 11F is on the agenda this evening. We'll move to 7B. City Solicitor Use Permit Agreement for Public Property, St. Luke's Hospital Health Network, 2011, boutique at the rink.
Attached is the subject proposed resolution and use permit agreement for council's consideration.
The authorizing resolution will be listed on the January 4th, 2011 agenda. We'll move to reports. President of Council, Human Resources, Temporary Help, that will be under discussion at one of our January meetings. And the continued public hearing for Police Officer Leonard is scheduled for Monday, January 24th, 2011 at 6 p.m. in Town Hall. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administrative Order Number 1334, I hereby appoint Phil Rader, 926 Chester Street, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, 18017 to the Historic Conservation District for South Bethlehem and Mount Airy, and this appointment is effective April 2012.
And the resolution to confirm is sponsored by David DiGiacinto and Karen Dolan.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Belinsky.
Aye.
Mr. DiGiacinto.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0.
Thank you. Administrative Order Number 1335, I hereby reappoint Judith Habas, 431 Spring Street, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, 18018 to the Fine Arts Commission, and this reappointment is effective until December 2013.
The resolution is sponsored by David DiGiacinto and Karen Dolan.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Belinsky.
Aye.
Mr. DiGiacinto.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
Thank you. Administrative Order Number 1336, I hereby reappoint Don Speed, 164 Wharton Lane, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, 18017 to the Fine Arts Commission, and this reappointment is effective until December 2013.
The resolution is sponsored by David DiGiacinto and Karen Dolan.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Belinsky.
Aye.
Mr. DiGiacinto.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
No further reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Committee reports. Finance, Mr. Reynolds.
The Finance Committee met on Tuesday, December 21st at 6 p.m. in Town Hall prior to the City Council meeting. The committee recommended that Council approve resolutions for the following: transfers of funds, general fund, recycling overtime, Parks Department building maintenance overtime, Police Department general overtime, Fire Department overtime. Also transfers of funds for the Water Fund for water filtration and water maintenance as it pertains to overtime, transfer of funds for the Sewer Fund, wastewater treatment overtime, a transfer of funds for the Golf Fund overtime, and Treasurer's escrow borrowing. All of the resolutions are listed on tonight's City Council agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to ordinances for final passage. 9A, Bill 38. Amending Article 1113, Food Code Regulations. Bill 38.
An ordinance of the City of Bethlehem, Counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Article 1113 of the codified ordinances entitled Food Regulations, sponsored by Eric Evans and J. Wayne Reynolds.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Belinsky.
Aye.
Mr. DiGiacinto.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
9B, Bill 39. Amending Article 1731, Inspections.
An ordinance of the City of Bethlehem, Counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Article 1731 of the codified ordinances entitled Inspections, sponsored by Eric Evans and J. Wayne Reynolds.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Belinsky.
Aye.
Mr. DiGiacinto.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
9C, Bill 41. Amending Article 721, Streets and Sidewalks Fees.
An ordinance of the City of Bethlehem, Counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Article 721 entitled Streets and Sidewalks of the codified ordinances of the city of Bethlehem, sponsored by Eric Evans and Gordon Mallett.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Zelinski.
Aye.
Mr. DeGiuseppe.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
9D, Bill 42, amending Article 903, excavation fees.
An ordinance of the city of Bethlehem, County of Lehigh, and Northampton, Commonwealth of Virginia, amending Article 903, the codified ordinances of excavation, sponsored by Eric Evans and Gordon Mallett.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Zelinski.
Aye.
Mr. DeGiuseppe.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Ms. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
9E, Bill 43, amending Article 907, poles and wires fees.
An ordinance of the city of Bethlehem, counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Article 907 of the codified ordinances entitled Poles and Wires, sponsored by Eric Evans and Gordon Mallett.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Zelinski.
Aye.
Mr. DeGiuseppe.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
9F, Bill 44, amending Article 909, sidewalks, curbs, gutters, and driveways fees.
An ordinance of the city of Bethlehem, counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Article 909 of the codified ordinances entitled Sidewalks, Curbs, Gutters, and Driveways, sponsored by Eric Evans and Gordon Mallett.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Zelinski.
Aye.
Mr. DeGiuseppe.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan. Aye. Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mallett.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
9G, Bill 45, amending Article 910, trees and shrubs fees.
An ordinance of the city of Bethlehem, counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Article 910 of the codified ordinances entitled Trees and Shrubs, sponsored by J. William Reynolds and Gordon Mallett.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Zelinski.
Aye.
Mr. DeGiuseppe.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mallett.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
9H, Bill 46, amending Article 925, stormwater management regulation fees.
An ordinance of the city of Bethlehem, counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Article 925 of the codified ordinances entitled Stormwater Management Regulations, sponsored by J. William Reynolds and David DeGiuseppe.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Zelinski.
Aye.
Mr. DeGiuseppe.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
Bill 9I, Bill 47, amending Article 933, recycling fees.
An ordinance of the city of Bethlehem, counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Article 933 entitled Recycling of the codified ordinances by increasing the recycling fees. Bill number 47 is sponsored by J. William Reynolds and David DeGiuseppe.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Zelinski.
Aye.
Mr. DeGiuseppe.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
9J, Bill 48, amending Article 1735, rooming houses fees.
An ordinance of the city of Bethlehem, counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Article 1735 of the codified ordinances entitled Rooming Houses, sponsored by J. William Reynolds and David DeGiuseppe.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Zelinski.
Aye.
Mr. DeGiuseppe.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mauer.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.